everybody! Welcome to the Jayda InStitches show. Ever since we made this cute little sunburst coaster out of cotton, I've had a lot of requests to make some kind of matching placemat. So, in honor of the fall and getting some new DIY decor for the house, I have come up with a really pretty little placemat pattern, and that's what we're going to do today on the show. So you can see that the edging of our coaster matches the edging of our placemats. So if you're planning on making some DIY gifts this year, a set of placemats with matching coasters would be fantastic. And of course you can make them all in the same colors or multiple colors, however you like. You're going to need about 100 grams of worsted weight cotton yarn per placemat. So when you're doing your yarn shopping, keep that in mind. And give this video a like. Just tap that like button down below this video if you like DIY decor as much as I do. And leave me a comment. I want to know what kind of decor you guys have got in mind for the autumn season coming up. So let's grab our hooks, grab our cotton yarn. I'm going to grab my pattern and we're going to head to the craft table and make ourselves a really awesome set of new placemats. For today's tutorial, you're going to need cotton worsted weight yarn. Cotton is good because it's heat resistant and it washes well. You're going to need a 4.25 millimeter hook, or 4.5 or a 5. Any one of those three is just fine. A pair of scissors and a yarn needle. And once you've got all those things, we can get started. We're going to begin with a slip knot. Make sure it's not too tight or too loose. And then you're going to chain 20. Once you've chained 20, you're going to skip all 3 of the first chains from your hook, identify the 4th, and you're going to double crochet into that 5 times. The chain 3 that you skipped counts as a double crochet. Now you might have a little bit of an opening here, but don't worry about it, you can take care of that at the end. So you've got your chain 3, that counts as a double crochet. You should have 5 more double crochets worked into that same stitch. Now you're going to double crochet into each of the next 15 chains. So 1 double crochet for each of the next 15 chains. 15 double crochets later should bring you up to your last chain. Into that chain, you're going to work 6 double crochets. Alright, that should move you all the way around to the, so that you're looking at the underside of your foundation chain. And now we're going to work all the way along the underside of our foundation chain. So you should have 15 stitches available to work all the way across there. So you're going to do a mirror image of the other side. You're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 15 stitches, which are the underside of the 15 chains you worked previously. Once you get back to the beginning, you're going to identify that chain 3. Those are the 3 chains you skipped right at the very beginning. Go 1, 2, 3, go up to the top. And you're going to join with a slip stitch. So I like to pick up one side of the chain and then the other. So I'm working my hook through the chain. Join with a slip stitch. And that completes row 1. Now you can think of your rows as rounds because you are technically working in the round. So your row 1 should look like that. On to row 2. We're going to chain 3 to begin. We're going to work a double crochet into the same stitch as the joining. Now that's the same place we just worked our 3 chains out of. So you're going to slip your hook in to that same place that you joined your last row. That counts as 2 double crochet. And now you're going to work 2 double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So 2 double crochet into each of the next 5. Once you've done that, you're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 15 chains. So you're working the straight part of the row of side 1. So 1 double crochet into each of the next 15 stitches. That should bring you up to your next curve. You're going to work 2 double crochets into each of the 6 stitches that make up that second curve. So 2 double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. That brings you back around the curve, and now you should have 15 stitches left in this row. You're going to work 1 double crochet into every single one of them. "15 stitches brings you back around to the beginning. Remember, this little thing here is not a stitch. It's what some people refer to as a false stitch. So if you counted 15, you're right. And if you've got something that looks like this, it's okay, just ignore it. Count to the top of your chain 3 and slip your hook through there. You're going to join with a slip stitch, and that completes row 2. Lay it down, give it a little flattening, and you should have something that looks like a sea cucumber. That's row 2. On to row 3. We're going to chain 3 to begin. Double crochet in the same stitch as joining, so you got to work your hook into that same stitch that you joined the previous row in. A little tight. That counts as 2 double crochet. And now you're going to double crochet 2 stitches into each of the next 11. So you're going to double up your stitch count again, going around that first curve. So 2 double crochet into each of the next 11 stitches. Alright, so you've worked 2 double crochet into every single one of the next 11. So including the chain 3 double crochet you started with, you should have 24 stitches here. Now you're going to work a double crochet into each of the next 15 stitches. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 15. Alright, 15 double crochet later, that brings you up to the second curve. You're going to work 2 double crochet into each of the next 12 stitches. So once you finish that curve, you'll have added another 24 stitches to your count. So 2 double crochet in each of the next 12 stitches. Alright, that brings us around the second curve. You should have 15 stitches left in your row. You can go ahead and work 1 double crochet into each of the remaining 15 stitches in row 3. Alright, once you get back to the beginning, remember to skip that funny little fake stitch. Count up to the top of your chain 3 and join with a slip stitch. And that is the end of row 3. Lay it flat, smooth it down. It's now a larger sea cucumber. Alright, if you're keeping score, at the end of row 3 you should have around 78, I should say not around, you should have 78 stitches. So at the end of row 1, 42, at the end of row 2, 54, and at the end of row 3, 78 stitches in total. Row 4, we're going to change up the pattern a little bit. So we're going to chain 3 to begin. We're still using the double crochet stitch, but the pattern's going to change just a wee bit. You're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So you're no longer doubling up inside that first joined stitch. You just chain 3 out of it and then forget about it. Work a double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. Now, if it helps you to put down a marker, like if you've got a safety pin, you can put a safety pin around your last double crochet if you want. If you're okay counting, then you can just sort of skip this part. It's just sometimes handy to have a little extra visual. Now you're going to work 2 double crochet into the next stitch, so this one here. So we're starting our little curve. 2 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So your pattern is now 2 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch. You're going to repeat that pattern 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way around the curve 8 times. So 8 times in total. You've already done 2 sets with me. Now you're going to do 6 more sets of the 2, 1, 2, 1 pattern. Alright, if you've worked that little 2, 1, 2, 1 pattern 8 times around the bend, that should bring you around the curve, and including the first 5 stitches we made, and remember your chain 3 counts, you should have 29 stitches so far. So if you've got 29, you're on the right track. Now you're just going to work across that straight part. That will be 23 stitches. So you're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 23 stitches, and that should bring you to the edge of your next curve. So 1 double crochet into each of the next 23 stitches. Alright, so I've gone all the way around the curve. I've worked the next 23 stitches. That brings me up to the next curve, and you're going to work that same doubling pattern of 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet. You're going to repeat that pattern 8 times around the edge, and that will give you 24 stitches around your corner if you're keeping track. So work the 2, 1 pattern. So 2 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Work that little pattern repeating 8 times, and that'll bring you around your second corner. Okay, that 2, 1 repeating pattern gives you an extra 24 stitches around your corner. You should have 18 stitches left in this row. So 18 stitches, you're going to want to work 1 double crochet into each of those 18 stitches. Alright, I'm back at the beginning. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. And that completes row 4. So including that chain 3, because the chain 3 at the beginning of every row counts as a double crochet, you should have 94 stitches at the end of row 4. And you should have something that looks like this. Row 5. So we're still getting bigger. We're going to chain 3 to start. You're going to work directly into the next stitch, so we're no longer increasing in the same place that we joined. You're going to double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And now we're at the curve. So we're at the beginning of the curve. We're going to work another increase pattern. This one's a little bit different than the row before. We're going to work 2 double crochet into the next stitch. So 2 double crochet into this next stitch here. That's 2. And then 1 double crochet into each of the next 2. So the pattern now is 2, 1, 1. 2, 1, 1. So you're going to work that little repeater pattern a total of 8 times, just like the previous row. So 8 times the repeater pattern 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, and that will give you a total of 32 extra stitches, rounding your first curve. Okay, we've now worked all the way around that edge. You should have 38 stitches in total, so including that chain 3 that you began with, you should have 38 stitches. You're going to work a double crochet into each of the next 23. So work along that flat row side. 1 double crochet in each of the next 23 stitches. I hope you're starting to see the pattern here. You've worked 1 double crochet into each of the 23 stitches that go across the flat spot. That brings us back to another curve, or the second curve in this row. You're going to work that pattern, 2 double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into each of the next 2, You're going to repeat that little pattern 8 times, so you're going to add another 32 stitches around your curve, and then it's just straight double crochet on the home stretch. Alright, we're on the home stretch of row 5. You should have 17 stitches left. You're going to work a single double crochet, so 1 double crochet into every single one of those 17 stitches that are left. Join with a slip stitch, and we'll head on to row 6. We're getting near the end, everybody. Alright, that completes row 5. We've got one more row of increase to add on to our great big oval here. And we're going to start with a chain 3. You're going to double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And now we're going to begin the last increasing curve. So our increasing pattern all around this curve is 2 double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into each of the next 3. So you're going to repeat that little pattern 8 times, and you're going to have an additional 40 stitches worked around your curve. So by the time you get to the end, you'll have 46 stitches. So it's 2 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Repeat that little pattern, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Repeat it 8 times for a total of 40 new stitches, and then we'll work the straightaway. Alright, after you've worked that little repeater pattern 8 times, you've added 40 new stitches, including the first 5 plus your chain 3. You should have 46 stitches so far in row 6. Now you're going to double crochet into each of the next 23 stitches. So work that straight line. Alright, 1 double crochet in each of those 23 stitches brings you around to your last curve of row 6. You're going to work that 2 double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, so 2, 1, 1, 1. You're going to repeat that pattern 8 times. That'll give you 40 stitches to round that last curve, and then we're on the home stretch. Alright, 40 stitches made from that repeating pattern of 2, 1, 1, 1 will bring you all the way around your last curve. You should have 17 stitches left. You can double crochet in each one of those, and then we are done the business end of this placemat. Okay, I have gotten to the end of row 6, joined with a slip stitch. You should have, including your chain 3, 126 stitches all the way around the end of row 6. Now, if you find you've got a little bit of warping or a little bit of wiggling, and it doesn't totally iron out when you sort of lay it flat and give it some heat from your hands, don't worry, it's cotton. You can either steam it when you're done and block it, or you can toss the whole thing in the washing machine and then just sort of lay it flat to dry and pin it. It'll be fine, so don't worry. If it's really gnarly, maybe you are a little bit tight with your stitch tension, or you would be better off using a slightly larger hook for this project. But don't worry, a lot of this sort of rippling can come out when you block it. That's if you have any at all. Now we can get into the pretty part of our placemat. We're going to change up our stitch style. We're going to move from a double crochet to a half double crochet. And our first little stitch is a bit of an interesting one. So we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this chain 5 counts as a half double crochet. So these first 2 chains count as a half double crochet. These 3 chains are chains. We're going to half double crochet into the same place. So here we go again. Find the top of that stitch that you joined in, so the top of your chain 3, and half double crochet into it. So remember, you wrap, stick your hook through there, pick up a loop. So it's very much like double crochet, except now you just wrap and pull back through everything, which is a little bit tricky, but that's just this first one, so don't worry. Should have something that looks like this. A V style, so you've got your 2 straights and your little curve at the top. skip 2 stitches. 1, 2. Find the third, that one right there. Half double crochet into it. Chain 3. And half double crochet into the same stitch. So this is your little V-stitch that you're going to work all the way around the edge. You skip 2 stitches, find the third, half double crochet into it, chain 3, and half double crochet back into that same stitch. Try not to split your yarn. Skip 2 stitches, find the third, half double crochet, chain 3, half double crochet into that same stitch. You're going to work that all the way around your entire placemat, and you'll end up with something that looks like this. Blink, 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 blink. All the way around. When you get to the end of row 7, you're going to have 42 of these little V-stitch spaces. So I'll let you work on that, and I'll see you around back at the beginning. Once you get back round to the beginning, find the chain 5 you began with, count up 2, and join with a slip stitch. Alright, once you've joined with a slip stitch at the top of that little chain 2, so that's 2 chains into that chain 5 you started the row with, just give yourself a count. You should have 42 of these little V stitches all the way around. And now the finishing row, row 8. You're going to single crochet into this V-stitch sort of space. So no chaining, no nothing, you just joined. You're going to single crochet 2 times, chain 3, and single crochet 2 more times into that same space. And it looks like that. That is fancy. Work directly into the next V-stitch space. So work 2 single crochets, chain 3, and 2 more single crochets all into the same V-stitch. Looks like that, like little crowns. Into the next V-stitch, same thing. 2 single crochet, chain 3, and 2 single crochet. And that is all there is to that. You're going to work 2 single crochet, chain 3, 2 single crochet into every single one of these little V spaces all the way around. I'll show you where to join up when we get to the end. Once you've worked 2 single crochet, chain 3, 2 single crochet into every single one of your little V spaces all the way around, get back to the very beginning, and you're just going to join with a single crochet, or I should say with a slip stitch, to that first single crochet. That's it! You can snip your yarn, a little bit of a tail, not too much. Fasten off, pull it nice and tight, and then just grab your yarn needle and you can weave in your ends. A little note, like I mentioned earlier, if you feel like you've got this little space that opened when you worked your very first 6 sort of stitches, or your first 5 stitches into that first chain, if you're kind of uncomfortable with that, you can cut yourself a little bit of your yarn and just start weaving it in, almost as though it was a tail you were weaving in after you'd fastened off. So you don't have to create any knots. You just sort of weave in about enough so that you've got about 2 inches left, and then start weaving in your sort of yarn around it and through it. So for example,
I'm going to go down here a little bit, kind of pull it tight. You might not have too big of an area, so this might not require a whole lot of tightening. But you just want to weave in some yarn back and forth, sort of double back on yourself, and just pull it tight a little bit. Not too much, because you don't want to pull any of that sort of out of whack, but that's starting to look pretty good. So it doesn't have to be super tight, obviously. Once you've got it small enough, you can just weave in those edges back and forth across the backs of some of those stitches, just like you would weaving in any other tail, and you're done.
And there you have it. A placemat. Super sweet, really, really cute, and a set of these is whipped up in no time. You can do what I'm doing and make them multiple colors, or of course you can make them all one color, especially if you're making them to match some kind of decor that you have in mind, or for someone else. And that's it for this week, everybody. Be sure to check our description box down below for other helpful links, including the link to this cute little starburst coaster that we previously made, and some other stuff, just in case you need to freshen up on the half double, the double crochet, or even the single crochet tutorial. That's it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Jayda and Stitches show. Until next week, stay safe, stay crafty, and have an awesome week. Bye, everybody.